Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Red for Anfield Index. It's Tuesday, the 29th of October. Games come thick and fast, don't they, ladies and gents? Because tomorrow, 7:30, weird kickoff time a little bit, maybe not. 7:30 in the evening, we will play Brighton in the Carabao Cup. An interesting one, as I say that. You'll have your thoughts. Do you think it's a competition with pursuing? You can get another trophy on the trophy wall, there's that. Or in the mindset of Premier League, Champions League, they're the priorities. We'll all see it differently, ladies and gents. But on Tuesday, the 29th of October, I'm your normal host, Dave Davis, coming to you from a lying Edinburgh, because the sun is out, but it's absolutely Baltic, and it does actually look like it might throw it down any second. But we will see what happens, ladies and gents. And really, the main news from today, there is only one place to start, isn't there? The Arne Slot press conference. So 10:30 up at the AXA this morning. Naturally, a few questions asked about injuries, who might be in the lineup, rotation, all those types of things. Brace yourself. It's pretty much bad news on most fronts, I suspect, from the answers you were looking for. Definitely what I was sort of searching for as well. So let's get straight into injuries, ladies and gents, because he was asked about Connor Bradley, Chiesa, Elliott, Jota, the lot. Limited good news here. So what did he say? So reading this from the official website here, Connor is training with us. Good news again. And he could be in the squad tomorrow. Brace yourselves. Jota out, Alisson out, Harvey out, and Federico, as in Chiesa, I'm not expecting him to be in the squad tomorrow. Now, he was probed a little bit further on sort of what's going on with Chiesa, because he even suggested in his last press conference just before Arsenal, he could be there. But he said it's difficult to say in regards to a timescale because he goes a lot up and down. Sometimes he's there with us, training for a few days, and then he goes out with injury again. Eesh. So I don't want to put days or weeks on it because I think we just have to take it day by day and make sure he gets the best possible treatment. That's not good to hear, is it, ladies and gents? Almost riding this roller coaster with Chiesa a little bit at the moment. Sometimes he's fit, he's in the session, then he's out. It doesn't sound too great, does it? So, but most importantly, definitely not available for tomorrow. Jota definitely not available. Harvey's no real surprise because we knew Harvey was going to be a few weeks. But Jota was like, I know Tosin lands on him, and Tosin's a massive guy, don't get me wrong, but you were thinking bruised rib, maybe 1 week, 2. Slot answered about Jota a bit further. So what did he say? He actually said, it pays me actually just reading this, so I'll give you the snippet. He's probably not going to be available until after the November international break. Now, you think the last game before the November international break is Villa at home, the 8 p.m, Saturday, the 9th of November. We don't return until Southampton, November the 24th. So what was maybe a bruised rib in true Jota style, that is keeping him out for quite a while, isn't it there, ladies and gents? It is not good news at all. So just to recap, in case you're just coming in, ladies and gents, Chiesa will not be in the squad. Neither will Jota. Connor Bradley will. So not the best injury news there. He did also get asked about Yaros and Kelleher, who will be a starting goalkeeper. Naturally, that was going to be a question, wasn't it? Because Alisson injured, Kelleher is currently the number one. Yaros played against Crystal Palace, didn't he? But he's not made up his mind. That's the long and short of it. Arne Slot has not made up his mind in regards to who will be his starting goalkeeper for tomorrow night. And then the other bit of bad news, and I don't know, it depends how you'll see this, but I don't like this, I have to be honest. He was asked about his lineup for Brighton, this Carabao, as in, will you be making wholesale changes? Now, it was a great question to ask him because if you think back to the West Ham game, sweeping changes across the board, wasn't there? Which was, I think, was good news in all honesty. And considering how crazy the schedule's been, you think what we've done recently from Chelsea at home, Leipzig away, and Arsenal away, you're thinking, rest and rotation, protect those stars. Wholesale changes are what I was looking for. Not Arne Slot. What does he say on this? He says, I don't think it's possible to do the same as we did against West Ham for the simple reason that we've got some injuries. So we don't maybe have enough players to change them all if I wanted anyway. Not what we wanted to hear. I think we were looking for stars galore to be rested, really, weren't we, in that regard? So we'll see. And normally I do a post-conference presser, but we thought we might as well just combine it with the Daily Red today. So if you think about the lineup for tomorrow night, it's a bit harder to predict. Kelleher, Yaros, it's going to be one of the two. Hopefully Conor Bradley is fit to start. And I'd like to see that because Trent needs that rest. You think we talked about it yesterday with David Lynch. It was confirmed, wasn't it? He is carrying a minor strain. No one wants Trent to sort of be risking anything in a Carabao Cup. So hopefully, touch wood, fingers crossed, Conor Bradley good to go tomorrow. Quansah and Gomez in the middle, because naturally you want to rest VVD and Canate. And we'll talk a little bit about Canate very shortly. This one, left back. This is really hard as well, because after the other day, who is the first choice left back? Because we've seen Robertson start against Arsenal, have a really poor game, it's fair to say. Tsimikas comes on, and it's not just that, but it improves the whole situation with Tsimikas coming on, doesn't it? So I think this is an indication of who the backup left back is tomorrow night. If Tsimikas starts, I don't think he's displaced Robbo. If Robbo starts, I think our best friend is Tsimikas at the moment, the starting left back. So that is going to be fascinating. In the middle, I'm looking for nearly wholesale changes. I'm looking for Endo to come in. That's what we want, no doubts about it. Tyler Morton. If Tyler Morton can't get a game here, then you do really feel for him. I'd love to see him come in as well. And then, again, the third midfielder is almost a case of who's not in favour. So for me, it's a difficult one. And I don't just want to blame this on Curtis Jones the other day, but it wasn't quite working in that midfield. I thought that was more to do with the sort of system, the way things were working. But for me, Curtis Jones. That's my midfield three for tomorrow. Endo, Morton, Curtis Jones. See how we get on with that. The attacking side, dear God, there's no Chiesa back. So, I don't know. People are probably going to be playing who we don't really want to play. So for me, well, there's only one fit forward, and he talked about this. Jim Dance isn't back here, but Darwin Núñez in the middle, Gakpo and Diaz, and maybe it's Diaz on the right. I really don't know. I'd just rather see Mo Salah rested. And the reason for that is I'm just playing the odds here. Who is your biggest attacking threat? Mo Salah, 13 games, 8 goals, 7 assists, 15 goal contributions from the Egyptian king. Give him as much rest as you possibly can. So, yeah, I don't like it in a way, but that's my lineup for tomorrow. If you think Yaros, Bradley, Gomez, Quansah, I'm going Robbo at left back. I could well be wrong on that. Endo, Morton, Curtis Jones, Núñez, Gakpo, Diaz. Don't say this with any confidence, but we're not going to get the wholesale changes that we want. I think that's the truth that we're going to have to come round to. Brighton as well. Again, you don't know how they'll react. They're 6th in the league. It's Carabao. Where does that figure in sort of Herzila's priorities? Brighton, I really don't know. I mean, if you look at the league, they've played 9, they've won 4, drawn 4, lost 1. They're in 6th place, by the way. Brighton are having a really good season. They have attacking options galore as well. There is a few out, it's important to say. I know João Pedro's carrying an injury, but it's really hard to predict. I mean, you look at their threats. Danny Welbeck's got 6 goals, by the way. Scored at Anfield last season very early on. We forget that in our 2-1 victory. Minter's out, I believe, as well. So, we were linked with him in the summer. It's going to be fascinating to see who Brighton field. And again, similar to us, how they treat it. It might almost be a case of both lineups stronger than maybe both managers want to go. I really don't know on that. And you look at Brighton recently. Yes, they are 6th in the table. Webster out, Dunk out. And you just wonder, and maybe I'm getting ahead of myself here, They drew with Wolves 2-2 at the weekend, didn't they? And it's important to say, 2 late goals from Wolves, weren't they? Yeah. Ainouri, a player we've liked, gets one in about the 87th minute, and then injury time, Kuna. So they do ship a lot of goals. When you look at Brighton, they've scored 16, but they've given away 12 already. So you'd think, yeah, target the press, the way they play. But again, it's just so hard to say because it's the Carabao Cup. Who will be fielded for each team? I don't say mine with certainty. I'm going to go in this one, though. 1-1. I think it's going to go to pens. And do you know what? I'm all right with that because there's no extra time in the Carabao, is there? So penalties is exciting. If we go out, c'est la vie. If we go through, there's a bit of, yeah, you don't never want to see Liverpool lose a game, but you've got to get another one in the calendar. So it's going to be really fascinating to see, isn't it? But there you go. Speaking of Chiesa, I don't think this is an issue because I was going to talk to you about, the manager Spalletti talking about what he has to do and showing a number of games to be fit and have a real chance there. But actually, I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue because Slot's already said, just in case you missed it, ladies and gents, Chiesa in and out of sessions. So he's already gone almost back out withdrawn injured. So he's not going to even put a time frame on that at all. Really interesting to see what happens with Chiesa. Now, Ibu Konate. That is one player for definite I do not want to see anywhere near the lineup. And I mean that sincerely. Absolutely anywhere near the lineup. Just in case you're thinking, why am I mentioning him then? Because Slot has been talking about him. He's been talking about, it's a bit from the Express I'm taking here. He's been talking about how well he's doing. He's been talking about his form. And again, a reiteration of the man of the match thing, which is quite funny, actually, isn't it, realistically? But Ibu was well worth it. Vidal Sassoon style on Sunday, wasn't he? So that's important. But the reason that I'm just mentioning, I'll just give you a bit of a snippet. I said it many times. Our preference as staff and the medical staff which is the best in the world. It's all about recovery, which is normal if you're a Liverpool player because of the games that come. We want to have a good, very good performance staff and medical staff, and that's who we have. I'm not going to give you it all because it's worth reading yourselves, but little bit we got actually on Anfield Index because we did a bit of digging on this just to see. Because if you think about Konate, how good's his injury record? Touch wood, fingers crossed, and everything like that. Not stepping on any cracks in the pavement so far this season compared to last season. I mean, he's very nearly equaled the same number of starts, hasn't he? Little bit we got actually on this on Anfield Index a couple of days ago. At this point last season, Ibu Konate had been back and forth to Paris. I don't know exact, I've not got his flight tickets or anything like that, but a number of times, as we were told, sort of 7 to 8 times. And there's reasons for that, visiting friends, family, modelling assignments as well at the same time, we were told. However, this season, Slot, and I'm not saying he's banned it, but our information is they very much made him cut down on that a lot, fairly on the basis of rest and recuperation. One of the big things with Ibu at the same time, making sure that he's not putting miles in his legs, as in Paris back and forth. So who knows if that is a real point on his recovery, on his ability to keep playing. But just an interesting thing we wanted to share that we got with you on Anfield Index a few days ago, ladies and gents. So that's one thing worth mentioning. Other articles to call out today. There's a great article in The Athletic by James Pearce around Darwin Núñez. And it's a really good article in the sense that, and me and David Lynch talked about this, it almost seems that if you think back to last season, it was about being a chance magnet, shot volumes, wasn't it, for Darwin Núñez? However, not the case this season. Not the case at all. It's very much about running the channels, hard work, duels, pressing for the teams. In fact, you have to be honest, he's not really getting too many chances. But as the article says, maybe the role is getting slightly redefined. And listen, it's working, isn't it? How good was he against Chelsea? Brilliant. How good was he against Leipzig? Well, he was the match winner. And how good was he at the weekend? A brilliant assist. We mentioned it yesterday, but a brilliant assist. Last season, Darwin Núñez plans that over. You know he does. He takes the shot on it, it goes into Rosette. Perfect way Let's Mo Salah open up that foot to make it 2-2. So really important to say, there's a lot of credit going Darwin Núñez's way, and it's worth reading that article in The Athletic. James Pearce. So shout out to James on that one. I won't give you too much more. One thing I will give you a bit on is that you may or may not be a fan of this topic, the financial situation. So I'm reading it here. It's TBR Football in association with Kieran McKenna. So well-known football finance expert, isn't he, Kieran McKenna, talking about Liverpool and their finances. Now, there's quite a bit going on in the financial world with Liverpool at the moment, if you think about it. The Adidas deal. Now, Anfield Index's own Mo Chatra, shout out to Mo, actually said that ignore the reporting. The suggestions that's worth, 60 million or give or take around that actually everything factored in, £100 million approximately. And that is referenced in this article at the same time. So the importance of the kit deal. Also the importance of music, whether you like it or not. Taylor Swift, she brings in the pennies, didn't she? 10 million quid before costs, not to be sniffed at. And it even says this article, Liverpool, as Billy Hogan mentioned, really trying to push that this summer, aren't they? We know Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band are coming, Dua Lipa's coming as well. So don't be surprised if you see that going. That's another part of the sort of finances, the income streams coming into Anfield this summer. And then the final bit I'll mention from this article, it's well worth a read, as said, TBR Football in association with Kieran McKenna, the loans, because that's been mentioned recently, hasn't it, in regards to their associated party transactions hearing with City, the Premier League, which was a nonsense anyway, but steering away from that, doesn't really concern Liverpool too much. Yes, there are owners' loans, but they can convert it to equity because they don't really care, as this article says. It's more about the asset value. And it uses a great analogy. When you look at your house, if your house is worth 250 grand and your mortgage is 125, the house value is not 125, is it? It's still at 250k. It's equity that these owners were looking for. And if, when, however you want to see it, they do come to sell, as Kieran McKenna says in this article, you could be talking about £4 billion. Hard to value Liverpool at the moment, but just a good read if you are interested on the finance side around Liverpool, ladies and gents. So TBR Football, Kieran McKenna, a full breakdown of the finances. As we said before, a full shout out to Mo Chatra there around that and the Adidas kit valuation as well. So that one, well worth a read. Transfer news. Now, we know you love a bit of transfer news, as do we quite clearly, on Anfield Index. And this name is back in the fore, courtesy of Florian Plettenberg. Victor Gyökeres, Sporting Lisbon, banging in the goals left, right and centre, isn't he? No two ways about it. Brilliant last season in their title win. Start the season in red-hot form as well. Now, as Plettenberg, if you call him that, if you follow his Twitter account, says Liverpool are one of the clubs specifically interested in signing the Swedish international footballer. Sounds crazy to say this and you forget. Former Coventry player, but true. Yeah, bang them in the Championship as well. So he's got experience in England. Now, Plettenberg's saying that he has an agreement to leave Sporting next season. 60 to 70 million euros. Not pounds, euros. It's a strange one, this, because if you think of the players we normally target, we've seen the ones recently that Plettenberg specifically and others have linked with us. Marmoush at Eintracht Frankfurt, 26. Plettenberg mentions Gyökeres here. Gyökeres is 27 in June. Now, I know it's not all just money ball and it will be of a certain age, but it does almost indicate, as a few have tweeted this morning, has there been a bit of a shift in our profile, target identification, analysis, whatever you want to call it? We know they like a certain sample size. We know it's usually sort of the 3 seasons or more in that regard. But if Gyökeres and Marmoush are seriously on the list, that is a big change, ladies and gents, isn't it? Let's be honest about that. That's a big change in recent times. And the prices are interesting. If you think back to Marmoush the other day, they were talking 50 to 60 million euros. Gyökeres, 60 to 70 million, as Plettenberg's mentioning here. Yeah, it will be interesting to see. And also, we mentioned Darwin Núñez. What does that mean for his future? What does it mean for Diogo Jota's future? Just in case you missed it again, ladies and gents, Diogo Jota not back. This is bad news, is it? Until after the November international breaks, November the 24th at the earliest. Yeah, will be interested to see. Maybe, I don't know. We'll get more indication as January approaches. Brighton, it feels important to say it again, doesn't it? Carabao Cup, it's just no way of predicting how they'll do it. I mean, even looking at them, they've released sort of news on their site that I'm looking out here. No Pedro, as you mentioned, no Lewis Dunk, no Minty, no James Milner, which is a bit sad at the same time as well. No Adam Webster, no Solly March, no Hinshelwood, no O'Reilly. So they've got a few injuries themselves. I gave you my lineup. The only thing I've not given you, ladies and gents, my score and scorer for this one. 1-1. Go into extra time. Sorry, penalties. Let me correct that because there is no extra time, is there? It's going to go to penalties. 1-1. Darwin Núñez to get on the score sheet. That's what I predict. Penalties. Let's see if Yaros or Kelleher can make themselves a hero. It's just so hard to predict, in all honesty, isn't it? But will there be lots of changes in the ticker tape says there? Who knows? It will be interesting to see. The only other thing, and it's always worth just keeping you abreast of things, because a few articles reminding us that despite the reports in the summer, Ruben Amorim was not the top target. Whether you believe that or not, who knows? But we're more than happy with Arne Slot. The reason I'm calling that out, as the Times has released in the last few minutes, United are closing on Ruben Amorim as their appointment. So it will be interesting to see, A, the compensation, B, when does he come in? Because it sounds like it's an instant thing. They're looking to get it closed quickly. Let's hope. Manager, head coach, formerly linked with Liverpool, absolutely tonks in this one. But it will be interesting to see what happens there. But we're not here to talk about them. We're here to talk about us. Carabao Cup, 7:30 tomorrow night from the Amex. You're expecting a fully changed Liverpool team. But I don't think you'll get it, as we said. As Arne Slot indicated, ladies and gents, there might not be that many changes just because there's not quite the options he wants. We'll have to see. Only thing I'd leave you on, I suppose, is literally the last few seconds. Plettenberg's tweeted, Liverpool remain Virgil van Dijk's primary point of contact regarding his future, with his contract set to expire at the end of the season. Several top clubs are interested in the 33-year-old world-class defender, but a contract extension with Liverpool is still possible. No final decision has been made yet, and discussions are still ongoing. Dragging on these three a bit now, aren't they? Not to a labouring extent, but it's going to be November in a few days. In a couple of months, these three players can talk to clubs abroad and agree a pre-contract. Yeah, we'd like to see movement on this. Let's hope we do in the near future. But Brighton beckons. And on Tuesday, the 29th of October, ladies and gents, that was your Daily Red.